DreAllDay.com.
Tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, techniques, mentalities. And we put all of this under the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is everything is sales. Yes, you heard me, everything is sales. Not some things, not a few things, not just the things that you are comfortable with. Every single thing is sales. Now, I'll explain to you why I'm talking about this and explain to you how everything is sales in a moment. First, let me tell you that I send out a daily motivation text message every single morning to everyone who is in my texting community. If you are one of those people who want to be in my texting community and you would like to receive that daily motivation text message, all you have to do is text me at my text number, which is 305-384-6894. You'll get that text free of charge every day straight to your phone, as everyone else in my texting community already is. That number, once again, 305-384-6894, free of charge. Just text me to be in my texting community. Now, this topic of everything being sales, this is really what I'm sharing here today, is a mindset conversation that will help everyone understand that you are always making a sale, even if that sale is only to yourself. You have to sell yourself. You got to sell other people, and that's pretty much all the selling you got to do, yourself and other people. And you can say selling the universe as well. So I would suggest, and through this episode, I will help you understand why, but I'm going to tell you up front what my suggestion is that you get comfortable with the concept of selling. And then once you're comfortable with it, get good at it. As a matter of fact, you need to get good at it whether you're comfortable with it or not. Why? Because your entire life depends on it. Yes, you heard me correctly. Your entire life depends on your ability to sell. And as I explain these points today, you will understand that that is not hyperbole when I say your entire life depends on your ability to sell, because every single thing that you do, have done, and will do in life, everything that is going on in your life right now is a result of a sale being made. Whether you were sold by someone or something else, or someone or something else was sold by you, everything going on in your life right now is a result of a sales transaction taking place. And let me get into my points so you'll know that I know what I'm talking about. And then you will actually get comfortable with sales and get good at sales. You should probably just do both at the same time. Point number one. Topic, once again, is everything is sales. And as a matter of fact, I got a book called The Seller's Mindset, in case any of you didn't know. Point number one. Anytime that you are attempting to influence, persuade, encourage, motivate, or direct another person, including yourself, to do anything, you are selling. I shall repeat. Anytime you are attempting to influence, persuade, encourage, motivate, or direct any human being, including yourself, to do anything, you are selling. Either you are selling successfully or you are selling unsuccessfully. This selling does not need to involve money. It does not have to involve the exchange of money for it to be a sale. Dating is sales. When you share an idea that is either accepted or rejected or put on the shelf, that is a sale. When you try to get cooperation from another person, you are selling. Now, again, you could sell successfully, you could sell unsuccessfully, but you are selling anytime you're trying to influence, persuade, or encourage another person to do something. When you are driving in traffic and you want to merge into the left lane and you need a car in that left lane to slow down and let you in, you are selling. When you wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, comb your hair, you put on some nice clean clothes, you make sure there's no food stuck in your teeth before you go on a Zoom call, you are shining yourself up. Why? For sale. Because you want to influence and persuade other people to look at you in a positive way. That is selling. When you put a pair of glasses on, you're selling. When you put makeup on, you're selling. Gentlemen, when you go get a haircut, you are selling. When you put on a clean shirt, you are selling. Even when you put on some dirty clothes, you're selling. You're selling people on the concept that maybe you don't care what they think about you. Everything you do is a sale, even if you're doing it unintentionally. When you post something on social media, you are selling. You are selling people on the idea that whatever it is you're posting is worthy of their attention. Anything that you do that is directly or indirectly attempting to influence or persuade another person, including yourself, that is a sale. Does everybody understand me? Have I lost anybody yet to this point? Does everyone understand logically what I just explained? Every single thing that you do that in any way involves another person, including yourself, and everything you do includes yourself, you are selling. So every action you take is selling, and this is why I said your life depends on it, but I'm not even done. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is everything is sales. For all of you who say that you, quote, don't like sales. I've known many people who've made this idiotic phrase just because they didn't know what they didn't know. I would say it's a phrase of ignorance. I wouldn't call them idiots. I mean, I say that it's an idiotic phrase. That doesn't mean they're an idiotic person, but it's an idiotic phrase born of ignorance. Ignorance meaning not to know something. Anyone who says that you don't like sales is because of your ignorance and not understanding that every single thing involved in life is sales. Anything that involves a human being is a sale. So if you don't like sales, then you don't like humanity, but you're a human. So I don't think that makes any sense. Or any of you who say something like, you don't want to be in sales. You don't want to do anything that involves sales. You want a job, but you don't want to be in the sales department. You want to be an entrepreneur, but you don't want to sell anything. Or you feel like you're not a salesperson. You say something like, well, I'm just not a salesperson, so I don't want to be in sales. I want to let you know that you have a 4-alarm emergency going on in your life. If you have ever said any of these things, if you ever thought them, if you believe them about yourself now, you don't like sales, you don't want to be in sales, or you feel you're not a salesperson. This is an emergency. Here it is. You are already in sales. So anybody listening to me right now who feels like you don't want to be in sales, you don't like sales, you're not a salesperson, you're already in sales. So this is telling me that you're probably bad at it. You're already in it, but you don't like it, you don't want to be in it, and you feel like you're not that person. You're probably just doing it very poorly. That's why you have made up these stories in your mind to justify your lack of sales ability. But this mentality just tells me that I am able to draw that conclusion from the fact that you are owning this mentality, because you can't avoid sales. Nobody who's listening to me can avoid sales. I don't care what you do for a living. You could be a housewife who never leaves the house. You just take care of the kids and do the laundry and make dinner. You are still selling, because somebody got to decide to eat that food that you cooked, and they got to be happy with the way that you wash those clothes and be happy with the way that you're taking care of the kids. That's still a sale. There's a sale that needs to be made. So you're probably just bad at it, which is why you have created this story in your mind that you are not a salesperson. You are a salesperson. You are just a bad salesperson. But guess what? That's the bad news. The good news is we can fix that. If you have ever been on a date, you are a salesperson. If you're a housewife, you're a salesperson, because somebody had to decide to marry you, right? You didn't force them to do it, right? They had to make a decision. And you probably went on a date before you did that. And if you didn't, you still had to be sold on some level. Somebody had to sell somebody something to get you to that position, right? If you have ever been turned down for a date, you are a salesperson. If you have ever, or you do right now, had or have a job, you are a salesperson. If you've ever applied for a job and didn't get hired, you're a salesperson. If you've ever been fired from a job, you're a salesperson. You haven't been promoted or demoted, you are a salesperson. If you've ever wanted a person to have a favorable opinion of you, whether you were just meeting them, whether you were giving a speech, whether you were going on a blind date, whether you were trying to get hired for that job, maybe you were the one doing the hiring for a job. You want people to have a favorable opinion of you too, even though you might not need it as much as they do. You are still selling. All of this is sales. As I said, anytime you have tried to persuade another person, you're selling. If you've ever spoken to or written to another person in an attempt to gain their cooperation or to get their attention, you are selling. So this should be enough, everything I've said so far, for everyone to understand that we are all salespeople, while at the same time remembering that not all salespeople are created equally. Just because we're all salespeople doesn't mean we're all playing the game of sales at the same level. Some people just suck at it. Again, especially those of you who have crafted this story in your mind that you're, quote, not a salesperson, close quote. It's not that you are not participating or that you have opted out of the game because you have no choice but to participate. You're in the game, you're kind of on the sideline in the game, or you're in the game, you're just not doing anything. You ever watch a game of basketball and somebody, they're on the court, but they're just running up and down, not doing anything. They're not grabbing any rebounds. They're not making any effort on defense. They don't get past the ball on offense. They're just running up and down the court. Now, it's basically cardio for them, but it's not really, because they're starting and stopping. So it's not really cardio. They're not doing anything. They're just on the court taking up space. Now, this was something you were doing in the sales game. If you think that you're not a salesperson, or that you don't like sales, or you don't want to be involved in anything that involves sales, you are already involved in it. You're just not doing anything. You're not making any type of impact. So again, you crafted the story to rationalize the situation. Everybody's in sales and everybody's participating whether they want to or not. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is everything is sales. Number 3, embrace the concept of selling. This is what I want you to do. Do not look at sales as a negative thing. Don't look at it as some type of dirty, underhanded way of manipulating people into getting what you want. That is not what sales is. Even though it could be used for that, that is not what sales is at its essence. At its essence, all sales is you taking an item or service, idea or product. You share its virtues with another person, even yourself, and then you ask for the sale. You ask for the business. You ask for the transaction. I will give you this if you give me this. I give you X, you give me Y. That is sales. That is asking for the sale. So you share whatever the thing is, you present whatever it is, you talk about its virtues. In other words, you share how you feel about it. You get the other person to feel the same way. Then you ask them to make an exchange. I will give you this now that you feel that way, and you're going to give me this. If both sides agree, then the transaction commences and a sale has been made. That's sales. That's it. All human beings are susceptible to persuasion and influence. Any of you who feels like you cannot be influenced, that's bullshit. All right, look at the clothes that you're wearing. Look at the phone that you're using. All right, did you make those decisions based on just your independent, objective research? Of course you didn't. No, you did not. You were influenced and persuaded into buying those things, those brand names that you have. Any of you own some brand name vehicle, brand name house, you live in a brand name town, you got on brand name clothes, you own any brand name devices. That is not based off your objective, independent research. That's based on you being influenced and persuaded. In other words, you being sold. All human beings can be influenced and persuaded, and all human beings utilize influence and persuasion in trying to sell, i.e., in order to get your way. That is what sales is. Sales is getting what you want in life. If you want certain things in life, the way to get them is your ability to sell. Even if you want something that may not necessarily be the best thing for you, if you want it and then you do things in order to get it, you are selling. Playing the political game. And we talked about politics here on the show. I don't mean governmental politics. I mean politics as in human beings doing things to protect or further their own personal interests. That is selling. If I go and cozy up to somebody in my office building and try to get cool with them because I know that they know the person who knows the person who can help me get a promotion, and that's going to give me a $20,000 a year pay bump. All right, that is selling. I'm selling myself to this person so they can sell me to the next person, and that person can sell me to the next person who's going to get me the pay raise that I want. That's sales. That is politics and sales at the same time. Anytime you try to influence other people, again, to feel good about you, you are selling. Even if you influence them to feel bad about you, you're selling. An example of this would be, let's say, in boxing, for example. Sometimes when two fighters are getting ready for a boxing match and they're doing their press conferences and one of them just starts talking all kinds of shit about the other one. They'll talk about their country, their family, something that happened in their background, a loss that they took 3, 4, 5 years ago. They'll do anything to hype up the opposition against them because that opposition, they all know, is going to help sell pay-per-view tickets and make everybody more money. It's not because they really don't like the person. All they're doing is selling. They're selling to hype up the event that is coming up. That is sales. All human beings can be persuaded. All humans can be influenced. And we all utilize persuasion and influence in trying to get our way. This is how we engage with each other because we are social creatures. Selling is not about manipulation. It is not about taking advantage of people. It is about getting what you want through helping other people get what they want. This is the easiest way to make a sale. Not by manipulating a person, because to manipulate them, you will have to not share something with them or pull the wool over their eyes. The problem is you can't keep fooling people with the same tactics over and over again. Eventually, you're going to get hip to what you're doing, and you won't be able to do it anymore. So you're going to run out of real estate eventually. If you think sales is about manipulating or tricking people, that's not what it is. And if you do make a sale by manipulating or tricking people, the problem is you won't be able to sustain it. You will not be able to repeat and duplicate your success. And that's a problem, because in episode number 2013, I told you about doing the same things the same way every time. So if you want to duplicate your success and do it all the time, you got to be able to get a win-win in your sales so that you can come back to the same person and make that same sale again. Now, you don't want to have to find brand new people every time you want to make a sale. Even though there are 8 billion people on the planet, you probably won't run out of people before you run out of time. The problem is you don't want to have to keep moving around and going to different people, because as we all know in the sales world, it costs a lot more money to gain a new customer than it costs to retain a current customer. It's much easier to keep what you have than to gain something that you don't have. This is the law of inertia in action. Any object in motion will remain in motion unless or until acted upon by an outside force. So human beings, being social creatures, we engage with each other through persuasion and influence. You don't have to manipulate. You don't have to take advantage. You help others get what they want. And as the late, great Zig Ziglar said, you will get everything. And I do mean everything that you want. Keep in mind that making a sale does not mean that somebody wins and somebody loses. That is not sales. Again, if you make a sale that way, the problem is you will not be able to make that sale again to the same individual. Now you got to find a brand new person, which costs you a lot more of your resources than it would be to just go back to the same person and do another transaction if they're happy. But if they're not happy because they felt like they lost, they're not going to do another transaction with you. See, that's why you got to make sure you win and they win in any transaction you do, any sale. Since a sale is, by definition, a mutual agreement between two parties, at least, both sides get what they want. Because why would somebody agree to something where they're not getting what they want? Unless, of course, you manipulated them or tricked them into thinking they're getting something they're not actually getting, which again is not duplicatable. You don't want systems that are not duplicatable. If you can just change your mindset about sales to this mindset that I'm explaining here, that you're helping other people get what they want, while at the same time getting what you want, in other words, creating win-win situations. If you could change your mindset to that, you will probably not have much of an aversion to sales, because you know that what you're doing is helping other people, and you know that them responding is going to help you. All right, who would have anything against sales if that was your mindset? Any of you who has a negative energy about sales right now, tell me, is this the mindset that you had that led you to the negative mindset about sales? I doubt it. I doubt anybody who looks at sales as a win-win situation. I help the customer get something, the customer helps me get something. Nobody who looks at sales that way has an aversion to selling. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a coaching client of mine just this morning when I'm recording this, and this person is a man. I will say that. I won't say anything else about this person to identify them, but what this person was saying to me was that they had a little bit of call hesitancy. Any of you who knows what that is when literally part of their job is getting on the phone and making phone calls to people that could possibly become customers or clients of theirs, but they are hesitant to actually make these calls. In other words, they're slowing down their own money because they're hesitant to get on these calls because they have had some bad experiences in the past, and they have a story in their head that connects to those bad experiences in the past of somehow by making these calls that they're doing something that is only benefiting them but not benefiting others. And this mentality is a mentality rooted in a little bit of ignorance, but a lot of emotion. It's not all ignorance, because logically most people understand what I've explained, in that, all right, you are helping people get what they want. All right, that's why you're selling it to them, and that's why people are willing to buy it. So people understand that logically, but emotionally they don't understand it, and this is what leads to things like call hesitancy, to people procrastinating, not doing things that will actually help you move forward in life, simply because you have some emotional baggage that is making you feel negative about something that is actually going to help you and is going to help the person when you find the right person to sell to. But this individual I was talking to today, he was telling me that he had this call hesitancy, and I was asking him, all right, why do you have this call hesitancy? And he told me a little bit about some past experiences when he made calls and people responded negatively to him. There's the emotional connection right there. Even though he understands logically that if he makes enough calls, yeah, he might get some negative responses, but when he finds the positive response, is going to create so much of a positive result for him and the person that it more than makes up for all the negative emotional stuff, again, on a logical level. But until he emotionally understands this, he's still gonna have call hesitancy. He's still gonna not make those calls. And being that he's a coaching client of mine, it's my job to help him get through this. But this is something that just is fresh on my mind because it just happened today. So since a sale is a mutual agreement between parties, both sides get what they want. If you can just change your mindset to understanding that every time you make a sales offer, you are helping someone get what they want. So even if they decide that they don't want it, even if they feel negative about your offer, even if they think it costs too much money, even if they decide in the end that they don't want to do it, You have done your duty by making the offer to them because you know emotionally, not logically, but emotionally you understand what you offered them would actually help them. It's just you were unable in this instance to get them to understand the same thing that you understand. And listen, not everybody's going to buy from you. Ideally, everybody will buy, but not everybody's going to buy. Even the people that you give them your best pitch, your best presentation, your best reasons, your best emotional and logical justifications for why they should do something, some people are just not going to do it. Nobody is perfect at persuading and influencing every person they come across every time. But it is your duty to attempt to persuade and influence the people who would need your persuasion and influence in order to get something that's actually going to help them. As long as you believe it will help them, it is your responsibility to give it to them. That is the mindset of selling. If you can get your mind emotionally wrapped around what I just said, it will open your mind to the idea of selling, which will make you eligible to actually become good at it. So what you need to do at this point is join my Bulletproof Mastermind, where we talk about selling in every single training call. That's not the full topic of every call, but every call there's a conversation on selling, because all of us as professionals, we all have to sell. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. You work in healthcare, you work in tech, you can be a serial entrepreneur, you can be a project manager, you can work in finance, you can be in fitness, you can be in real estate, you can be in thought leadership. I have people in my Bulletproof Mastermind who are in all of these industries, and we all end up talking about sales because all of us on some level need to do some form of influencing and persuading to move our business forward. So it doesn't matter what you do for a living. Even if you're not doing anything right now, you will need to sell somebody to start doing something. Right? You see how sales is everywhere. So Bulletproof Mastermind, I'll tell you how to get into that in a second. But first, let's recap today's class, which is everything is sales. This is a mindset conversation to help you understand that you are always making a sale, even if you're only selling to yourself. So you should get comfortable with it, because your entire life depends on it, as I will explain in my recap. Number one, anytime you are attempting to influence, persuade, encourage, motivate, or direct a human being to do anything, you are selling. Does not need to involve money. Dating is a sale. Sharing ideas is a sale. Getting cooperation is a sale. Getting someone to leave you alone is a sale. When you're driving in traffic and you want to merge, that is a sale. When you wake up in the morning and put on clean clothes and brush your teeth, that is a sale. When you post something on social media, you are selling. Anything you do to directly or indirectly attempt to influence or persuade another human being, including yourself, is a sale. Point number two. For anyone who thinks you don't like sales, you want to be in sales, you're not a salesperson. You are already in sales. You just suck at it. You just need to get better at it. Because if you ever had a job, you ever been on a date, if you ever got fired from a job, demoted or promoted from or to a job, you are a salesperson. You just need to get more intentional about it and more conscious about it so that you can actually become good at it. Very rarely is somebody very good at something in which they don't think they're even paying attention. They're not even participating in it. If you ever wanted someone to have a favorable opinion of you, you are selling. So this should be enough for everybody to understand that we are all salespeople, while at the same time, not all salespeople are created equally. Understand that as well. Some of you are just bad at it. You need to get better, because you cannot escape the game, even if you wanted to, except for killing yourself. Other than that, but if you think about killing yourself, call suicide hotline. Point number three, embrace selling. Do not look at sales as a negative thing or some type of dirty, underhanded way of getting what you want. All humans are susceptible to persuasion and influence, and all humans utilize persuasion and influence. This is how we engage with each other, because we are social creatures. Selling is not about manipulation. It's not about taking advantage of people. If you do that, you won't be able to repeat your success in sales, and that is a bad idea, because it will make it harder for you to get the next sale. Keep in mind that making a sale does not mean a win versus a loss. You want a win-win in every sale, so that you help get what you want, and because you helped other people get what they want. And this will open your mind to the idea of sales, which makes you eligible to actually become good at it. If your closeout to the idea of it is, I doubt that you're very good at it. So you want to be good at it and be open to it at the same time, in reverse order. Get open, then get good at it. Join my Bulletproof Mastermind, which you can get into by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. It's my group coaching program. Will help you get a clear framework and strategy for what you're working on personally and or professionally within your first 30 days in the program. And you're going to stick around once you have it to make sure you're being held accountable for it, getting a kick in the ass anytime you're not holding yourself up to your end of your bargain. And you're going to stick around for the networking and communication you're going to get from the other members of the mastermind. These are the kind of people that you want to be connected with, so that you can make one phone call, send one text, one email, and get a problem resolved without having to do everything on your own. And a one-on-one coaching program. If anyone wants to just work with me one-on-one, I can't work with everybody, but I do work with a select few people one-on-one. That is my 3rd-day mastermind. Both of those options are available if you go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. On the other hand, not actually on the other hand, in addition You want to get my daily motivation text message every single day. All you got to do is text me at the following number, 305-384-6894. You'll get my daily motivation text message straight to your phone, free of charge, every day, guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. Work on your game. Dre all day.